This is always the fun part of our annual program on the Veterans Honor Flight, because we get to share with you some of the experiences we had with our veterans as we made our annual trip to Washington, D.C. The presentation is set up. I'll try to go through it, but I can't guarantee I'm going to get you out of here before 10 o'clock. So I just want to give you some advance notice. Let's see if this works. Let's try that. There we go. I'd like to introduce our veterans. Our first veteran couldn't make it with us this morning. Tom Goebel is a Navy veteran. His son was scheduled to, had to go out of town and couldn't go up. He lives in Cleveland, and so he wasn't able to make, but John Duff is here, and John has a letter that Tom provided, and you want to go ahead and read the letter now?
Sure. As a means of introduction, Rick Gable is my neighbor. His wife Margie was here last week, and we got to talking about the honor flight and invited his dad to come down from up north and go on the flight. I saw him the day after the flight, and he just couldn't quit talking about it, and his son finally drove off with him back to Cleveland because he had to get home before he could quit talking. He couldn't make it today, but he did send down a few words, and I wanted to share them with you today. To the Dublin AM Rotary Club. First, I want to thank all of you for inviting me to your honor flight. Also thanks to my son Rick and to John Duff for the wonderful day. And to the fellows who furnished their airplanes and volunteered to take the day to fly us to Washington, D.C. It was weather perfect. Rick was so much fun to be with, and the camaraderie of the group was out of this world. Yes, it has been 66 years since my discharge from the U.S. Navy, and I still have fond memories of those days aboard ship. I did what 16 million other men and women did at that time. I was 17 when I enlisted, and to think of all those years that I was honored to go see, after all those years, I was honored to go see all the memorials around Washington. My thoughts were with the White Crosses at Arlington and the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. We WW2 veterans are pleased and honored to partake in this grand venture, and we're humbled by the gratitude of a grateful nation. Thank you very much, Thomas Gable.
Our next veteran is joining us today. Many of you will recognize him. He's been here before and talked to us in a different capacity, but he came to us as a member of the United States Marine Corps. Vietnam veteran Frank Kirk. If you want to stand, Frank. Staff Sergeant Pat Monahan, United States Army. Pat and I, believe it or not, we just talking in the trip and everything, we had some overlap. Both of us went through. I was stationed at Benoit Air Base, Republic of Vietnam, when Pat landed there and then went forward in country to play coup. So he, United States Army veteran Pat Monahan.
Just to add something, I'm Mayor Shawnee Hills. We have on Saturday at 11 o'clock at our little Veterans Memorial across from the farm market, we have a real nice celebration. You're all welcome to come up, and we're honoring Vietnam vets this year. Last year we did women in the military, which got me off the hook because my wife's an Army vet. Thank you so much.
Navy Seaman Earl Burden. Earl's here with us this morning. Glad to have you with us. Army veteran Jack Frambus. Jack is here this morning. But it was a great trip. As always, we started out at Oh Dark 30, as we used to call it in the military, with a 6:30 showtime at Don Scott Airport, where we met our pilots and identified our plane assignments, and then jumped in and headed out. So this is a pic we show here with the veterans, our pilots. With Phil Yoder here, we have John Miller, and then we have, this is well, let's see, where's Mr. Goebel? That's him. And then his son Rick took the picture, so that's why you don't see Rick. And then Kathy Venata, who's a member of the National Guard and had volunteered to travel along as a caregiver with us this year. So she traveled with us this year. But starting off at Oh Dark 30, I wanted to show you an en route picture because sometimes some things happen. This was a glorious day. We really had great weather this year for the trip, and it was cool in the morning as we launched out of here, but it was very clear and very sunny. But en route, we could see this is what fog in the valley looks like. So it's clear at altitude, but down in the valley, finger licks of fog all over, so you can actually see where all the hills and the mountains and everything were laid out. So it's just a gorgeous picture, and I couldn't resist taking it as we were flying.
Is that truth in advertising there?
That is.
Yeah. Look at that date.
No, that's not. Sorry. I haven't learned how to change that on my camera yet. One of these days I'll figure it out. Whoops. This is, yeah, that's it. This is en route just to show you that John Miller does know how to line up on the runway on our approach to Davis Field in Manassas, Virginia. We land outside of Virginia and then drive into town. And it gives us a chance to relax, get out of the airplane, walk around, and get in the vehicles. Takes about 45 minutes to drive from Manassas into town via Route 66. But